Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to the original show. This is the fortnightly show that we have been doing for free for probably the last, I don't know, Jeff, 7 years or something like that.
I think it's about 8+ now, Chloe.
Wow.
Paul and
Wow.
I talk about this regularly, and our memory, as you can understand, as a sextagenarian, and I'm 60 as well, 60 plus as well. Don't remember too well, but we're pretty sure it's about 8 years, and this may be the 9th.
Blimey. We have been going strong for a lot longer than I care to admit then.
Well, the point is it's fun. It's a pleasure to do, and throughout those 9 years, we've met and had amazing experiences with incredible people from all around the world, not just traders, people who've come across our path, and some of them fantastic, others a little bit questionable, but at the end of the day, we've had a wonderful experience, and the trading benefits, I suppose, of doing this over that period of time have been immense. And the company has just grown. Well, I can't explain how big it's grown. It's exponential, and year on year, it's just going nuts, which is absolutely fantastic, and for good reason. Because we look after our clients. Pretty simple.
Definitely. We all love to do what we do, and I think that shows. So, without further ado, Jeff, what is it that you are going to do today in terms of what you're looking for in the market?
I got to be absolutely frank, Chloe. I'm absolutely knackered because I've just been trading unbelievably numerous trades. I just not used to it, to be honest. But when the sun shines, you've just got to have a crack, I suppose. And as we come to, look, and I mean, you know that as well as I do. When the trends are there, you've got to trade, and when they're not, it's time for me to click into gear. So that's precisely what I've been doing over the past. Well, actually, I've had a couple of days off, and it's a little bit of a rue for me because we've missed a couple of positions that we might have taken. That said, we've found our way into a few as well, and they're going okay at this point in time. And of course, we've had some long-term trades in the market as well. We've been trading pound Kiwi and pound Aussie for the longest time. If I just have a quick look at that and see how that's going, still going guns, all guns blazing there. We got into this trade down here, and that's now, 93.22, 760 pips ago. So that one's going okay. Well, okay is probably an understatement. Pound Aussie, similar to that, didn't quite pick the bottom, and that's gone into a big consolidation pattern. To be honest, I don't know that we've got too much left in pound Aussie. And the bigger picture tells me that we're at a pretty interesting part of the world in terms of the structure. There's probably a little bit more to go, and this was always going to be a get out point for me. But whilst we're in this consolidation, I suppose we just hang on and wait for it to break out to the high side. I actually don't see it like that in an intraday situation. Because we're now banging our heads again on the top of this range that we've been in probably for the best part of a month now, certainly into our fourth week. I would prefer probably on an intraday basis, or when I say prefer, I would, if I'm looking to trade this, be looking to have this bounce off the top and then come into the range or back into the range, this rectangle that you see, then look for a lower high and then trade it back to the bottom. Whilst ever we're in these ranges, and that's very much, part of the strategy that I trade, when we're in these ranges and have come to the end of the trends, or potentially the end of the trends, or even a little pause in the end of the trends, we get this consolidation, and it's then our duty, job, or obligation, if you like, to find a way off the top and off the bottom, and that's precisely what we've been doing. If we get fortunate enough, we'll also trade from the top and it'll break to the low side, or vice versa, and we'll get some skin in the game there as well. So With pound Aussie, I'm not that confident that we're going too much higher in the near term. But if we do, then we've well and truly got it covered. And if we get up to here, my goodness, they will be super trades. And I actually expect pound Kiwi to go to that that big target in the sky up here, which is, when we first ended this trade, we were looking for 2,500 pips. We're only about a quarter of the way there at the moment. But I'm reasonably confident that we're over time, and this might be Christmas time, might be this time next year, I don't know, but that's kind of the target area that I'm looking at, around about the 220, 221 mark, even 222 if we're extremely lucky. But I'm looking for a pullback now on pound Kiwi, but at this point in time, it doesn't seem to be coming. I'm not sure where the next level that we look for that is. Probably in this vicinity, I suppose, around about the I can't even read it, 205.70, something like that. And then I'd definitely be looking for a pullback and scale back into this and get some more money in the bank if at all possible. I've had a very interesting day thus far. And I'm in how many trades? Pound Kiwi, Pound Oz, Euro, CAD Swiss, Swissy Yen. We failed on Swissy Yen. We failed on Euro Dollar early in the week, but everything else is going our way. Euro CAD. I've been in 5 trades short Euro CAD so far in the last week or so. Also looked to enter a buy here earlier on a 30-minute chart. But thank goodness, well, when I say thank goodness, the momentum has swung to the downside and we're heading towards TP1 as I speak. I've got some very strong opinions around the euro, not necessarily against the CAD, but definitely this scenario is one that I really, really like and savor. And the reason I have been very, very keen and why I have had 5 positions short Euro CAD in the last week or so is because of what I see here. That's the weekly chart. But if I go to the monthly chart, it's also very, very clear, pardon me, that we are at the very top of where Euro CAD has been comfortable in the last, 5 years? We'll say 5 years. You could even go back further and see those resistance areas through here. We've only popped out of it once or twice, not least when just before the global financial crisis. And we really haven't been able to get above that level since. 1 close above it, 2 closes above it on the monthly chart. Why would I think now is the time that that's going to go further long? Well, I don't, frankly. And for that reason, and the reason that I see on that big daily chart, weekly chart, I'll call it a double top because that's what it is. I've been calling it a rabbit ears or even a Batman mask or the top of a Batman mask. And it's at this stage that you start ringing the people who come around with white coats. I understand that. But I actually see this down here, in which case that would look like a Batman mask. And I use imagery a lot in my trading, but certainly symmetry. And symmetry tells me that this side of the equation will potentially go to that side of the equation. And if that's the case, we've got a pretty decent trade on our hands. I think those of you who are in the early shows can now cancel that 30-minute buy. That was, I won't even call it a hedge. It was a genuine setup. And it looked very much like, if it'll go there, ready, set, go. There you go. It looked very much like we had a break and a retest of the daily pivot at one of our resistance trade lines, and the target was weekly pivot. But it didn't happen. And I'm pleased to say it didn't happen because that puts us back into the profit area with the bigger time frame. So that's one that I'm very keen on. The other is Euro Kiwi. I guess I'm very biased against the Kiwi, against the Euro at the moment, am I not? This is very much the same story. And if you have a look at the daily chart on this, you've got a beautiful little tweezer top sitting on a strong resistance area, which is, we're going to change these colors, 1.82. And it's very much the same thing. We're at a very strong resistance level. And would I be expecting this to go through it easily? Answer no. Is this a nice potential reversal pattern? Answer yes. So I'm looking for a lower high. And if I see that lower high on a significant time frame, 4 hour would be just the ticket, then I will look to trade this short. At this point in time, we're not ready for that because we don't have that significant lower high. Definitely we've got a lower low, but we don't have the lower high in place yet. And until we get that, it's going to be very, very difficult to trade. But if we find that there's a nice confluence of trend line or trade line across here, and we can turn that into a false break, then that's exactly what I'll be trying to do. I think you'll see a picture forming where the potential end of trends is, I won't say evident, but I'll say it's giving us a sniff at the moment. It's just a matter of being patient and waiting for those reversal patterns and the confirmation of those reversal patterns. And that's kind of what we're seeing on a few of these things at the moment. That's what I'm waiting for, just waiting for these lower highs off the top and going the other way, higher lows off the bottom. One that we did get yesterday was Aussie US dollar. We pretty much picked this off the top. I'm going to explain this trade more fully to my strategy people in Strategy Leader Coaching, which is coming up very shortly. This is a classic that is very obscure, and a lot of people wouldn't have seen the trade, but it's something that we hold very, very dear to us. And every time I see that scenario, it is giving us a little bit of a reward. So same story, you know, we're at a very strong level. We've been trending very, very strongly for such a long time, and you've got to expect that when the market gets into an overheated situation, you're going to get one of two things. You're going to get consolidation, or you're going to get retracement, and potentially the retracement can, of course, turn into reversal. And that's where we will make the bulk of our money if we can find that formula that gives us trading off the top to the bottom. And if the bottom breaks, then we can get a little bit more out of it. I see that with Aussie dollar to a lesser degree, because I'm really not seeing it going through this level. And the reason for that is something that I'll share with you now. And it is, are we on Zoom? We are on Zoom, so I've got to share a new share. Okay. Is this chart here. And anything that I've been trading with a dollar in it for the last probably month or so, I haven't been trading because I just haven't been able to trust the US dollar. And I've been saying this all along. And the reason is it's just gone absolutely over the waterfall and hasn't come back at any stage. This is a monthly chart I'm looking at, 1, 2, 3, 4 months without a retracement at all. Hasn't come back to that trend line in any time at all. I'm tipping that it has to happen sooner or later, and potentially at this level that we're now that we're bouncing off, or potentially bouncing off. I see this as a potential bounce back up to this area around about the 95 mark. So if that's the case, then currencies like the Aussie, currencies like pound, the euro, the Kiwi, the CAD, all of those types of currencies are going to benefit by that pullback. If the dollar can rally, sorry, those currencies won't benefit. They'll be in negative territory if that can happen. But I only see that happening for a short period of time, and that's why, I don't see a reversal here on the Aussie. I think the Aussie is going to remain strong for a while, quite frankly. But if I can trade it, down to this level, as we're attempting to do at the moment, then there's plenty of reward there. And if it does go, then we'll leave something in there, something in the tank, so that we can make maybe a little bit more money out of it, if and when it does go. So, Chloe, there's such a lot happening at the moment. Things like CAD Swiss that we traded yesterday. We're in a lot of trades, and most of them are beyond TP2. We're going very, very well at the moment. But we have had 2 crashes this week that tempers it just a little bit, but everything else going very, very smoothly. So all good. But I'll tell you what, awesome, I've got a funny feeling I won't be trading anymore today. I'm absolutely exhausted.
That is one of the lessons to learn, Jeff. We should only trade when we're feeling at our best. But awesome.
Yeah, I'm feeling more like a white wine than I am a trade at the moment.
Yeah, well deserved. Really good to hear, Jeff, because I've actually been pretty quiet on the trading front this week. And that is exactly how it goes, you know, as a
Yes,
trend
it is.
when I'm trading, you're often sitting waiting and vice versa. So
yep, you're supposed to say, Jeff, it's your turn.
Exactly. Oh dear. So awesome stuff. Thank you so much for joining us, as always.
Cheers, mate.
And we will speak soon. And you'll be back in your show in about an hour and 15, I think it is.
Yes.
The US
Ash
Open show.
and I'll be bobbing up in about an hour and 15 minutes.
Fantastic.
And previewing the US session, which of course will follow in half an hour thereafter. And by jingo and by crikey, there's a white wine at the end of it. I know there is.
Well, enjoy, Jeff. We'll see you then, and I will speak to you no doubt next week.
Cheers, Chloe.
In the meantime, cheers, Jeff. In the meantime, I am going to grab the screen just here and go through a few things that are kind of still trending. I say kind of because we've got to be a little bit careful with these trending markets at the moment, just because, of course, trends do end. I am always saying trends go on for longer than you might expect. And I will trade trends until they do end. And by end, I mean I need to see a technical sign on the chart that that trend has come to an end. However, even though I do still trade with the trends as they continue, I am completely aware that the probability of having a high reward to risk near the end of a trend is, of course, much lower than the probability of having a high reward to risk trade at the beginning of a trend. So what I'm seeing in the markets at the moment, I've got, for example, Aussie dollar. Now, Aussie dollar, I've been in this trade for over a month, nearly 2 months, in fact, one of these trades. I'm in two here. And I am still continuing because I do still see trend here. I still have higher lows and higher highs in price action. This is the daily time frame. And so I'm staying in these trades. There's no reason for me to come out. I've taken profit at several points along the way. I've trailed my stop loss. So that's in profit as well. And I see nothing wrong with staying in this trade. And at the moment, what I would even be looking for is a potential new entry. But of course, that entry, if I were to take it, would be at reduced risk because of the potential end of this trend, which could happen at any moment. But until I see a technical sign, then I won't be too concerned with that. There are, however, a few things that I am getting a little bit of a better direction from on the daily time frame. CAD yen is one of them. CAD yen, I do see an uptrend here, and it's definitely not overextended from really any point that we look at. It's not a particularly strong trend at this point, but there is the potential for a move to the upside, and that's why yesterday I got into this on the 4-hourly time frame. So I actually am in a trade here. It's sitting slightly offside at the moment. And what I'm waiting for is, on an intraday basis, a bounce from this daily pivot. I suppose we could have a little look closer at that on the hourly time frame. So of course, what I'm looking for is a bounce at this daily pivot and for price to continue upwards, take out these previous highs from towards the end of yesterday, and then away we go. So it's definitely not out of the woods because we do have a bit of a level of resistance over here. It's been resistance, it's been support, and it is resistance just here. And I am anticipating that level breaking. But of course, it might not happen. So I've entered this trade at reduced risk. If price gets through this level, then I will be looking to scale into the trade on an intraday basis if there is a suitable setup. So that's one of the things that I am closely looking at today. Another thing I am looking at is Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi is, again, it's been in a pretty long move up for the last month and a bit. And I'm not anticipating this move being spectacular from this point onwards, but I do still see an uptrend. And so there are still potential opportunities on the lower time frames. I would say the opportunity really was yesterday, where we saw on this 4-hourly time frame a really nice bounce from the weekly pivot there. Now it's down to probably the even lower time frame. So this is something I was looking at on the 15-minute time frame just earlier. I was hoping it would pull back a little bit further. I was hoping that this retracement would come a little bit lower so I could get a better price into the market, and it just took off without me there. So that is a shame, but that's something else that I will still consider looking out for, because there is still a little bit of space for this to move. Another thing that I've been looking at is pound Kiwi. Really, a lot of currency pairs crossed against the Kiwi are doing pretty well in comparison, because the Kiwi has seen some weakness. And again, pound Kiwi, it has been moving upwards for quite some time, but in terms of a trend, there's no reason to expect that that would be over, and not even really a particularly strong horizontal level now. We've got some support and resistance level just here, which price is now through, and the next resistance level would be around about that point, which price has a pretty long way to get to. So this, again, on the intraday time frames, is something that I'm looking out for, but of course it is just moving away quite quickly at the moment. I need to wait for a retracement in order that I can get in at a low price, ready for price to go higher. So it might be that I sit and watch this all day and that doesn't happen. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. And then another one that I'm looking at is Kiwi Swiss. As I said, Kiwi is pretty weak at the moment, and Kiwi against the Swissy is looking like a pretty good option. But again, what I've been waiting for today is a pullback. Whereas what we've actually seen is a consolidation, a sideways consolidation, and then price has moved off again. So for my strategy, I haven't quite been able to find an entry there. But those are a few of the things I'm looking at. The other thing that I'm looking at, if we just have a look at the daily time frame here of dollar yen, I'm pretty interested in the chart pattern that is potentially setting up here. It hasn't set up completely, but I'm looking at this as a left-hand shoulder, a head, and potentially a right-hand shoulder setting up just here at the monthly pivot. And if that pattern plays out, then we may anticipate a move to the downside from this point onwards. So that's something that is also on my watch list. And I'm basically going to be looking for any short entry at the moment at this point. It'll be at reduced risk because the downtrend is not yet established, but certainly I'm going to be looking for short entries, and that can be across any of these intraday timeframes as well. So those are a few of the things that I'm looking out for at the moment in terms of trend trading. And with that, I am going to hand over to Lloyd, and he is going to go through what he's looking at for today.
Hi, Chloe.
Hi, Lloyd. How's it going?
I'm a bit blurred because the login for today has changed a bit. But yeah, let me grab the screens. No, Chloe, I think you need to give me permission to grab the screen.
Oh, okay. How about that?
Let me see. Okay. Right, so guys, I'm going to share with you a few more charts than usual. One will be the usual wave rider chart, which I'm primarily trading, and probably a few more charts from yesterday, just to give you a bit of an update. Now, Aussie yen. Now, this for me, this will be a tricky chart for me to trade at the moment. My bias will still be all along biased. Yeah, I'm just waiting for price to give me a credible bounce off the red EMA and WS1s. But on that note, if I don't really get a good price action from here, what I'm really looking to, I might have a discretionary trade off this level. Yeah, simply because one of my ways to trade is consolidation breakouts. I would always love to see a retest of the breakout to see if I can get a short position. Yeah. So, but I'll maintain that that is a discretionary way to trade this. Yeah. And even though if the setup might occur, my take profit level will still be at monthly pivots. Yeah. So Aussie yen is one of those rare conditions whereby I might trade bi-directionally. Yeah, really depends on the current price action. Aussie dollar, this is a bit more straightforward. I'm just waiting for price to give me a reversal price action at the weekly pivot, and I'll take a long position. CAD yen, you can see that price is hugging at the weekly pivot quite a fair bit. Of course, we did get a earlier position yesterday from here. Yeah, but if price actually come and retest the weekly pivot and giving me a strong price action for a long bull bar, then I'll be very keen to jump in again. Euro CAD, pretty much the same scenario as CAD yen just now. You can see that price action is hugging the monthly pivots. I'm just waiting for a bearish bar, a decisive bearish bar before I jump in. So that's all to it. Won't be trading euro yen. Let me skip that. Euro dollar. Earlier this week, I'm actually looking for an opportunity to trade, but it seems that it's not favorable to me at the moment. I'll skip that. Now, dollar Swiss. Now, this chart, I'm still quite bearish on dollar. Yeah, looking at the price action on the daily chart, you can see that this is a very, very nice downtrend going on. Yeah, so regardless of what H4 is showing me at the moment for the past 2 weeks, it's a bit choppy at the moment. Yeah, so if I do get a bearish break off the weekly pivot, I will still jump in. But looking at the price action on H4, it's not trending that nice. I'll probably be putting my stop loss above WR1, and my TP1 will still be at WS1. Yeah, so looking at the distance, I might still get a decent 1:1 risk to reward. After that, I'll just let the trade run. Yeah. After all, I'm still pretty bearish about dollar. So let's see what the market will give us. Again, I repeat, I'm just waiting for a decisive bearish price action. Dollar yen, pretty much the same story as dollar Swiss, but in that regard, we can actually jump in at the moment if you wish to. Yeah. So this bar has already given us a very nice retest of monthly pivots. We can in fact take a short position. The subsequent bar also tested the monthly pivots. Yeah. So this is we can really jump in at the moment. But for any of you who is much more conservative, you can actually wait for a third bar to form. I guess these 3 bar combined. I forgot what's the actual name for this price action. 3 black soldier, 3 white crow, or something. I'm not really sure of the name. Yeah, but anyway, that's also a reversal price action. Yeah, so when you're trading this, doesn't make sense to have your take profit one at S1 area. So I'll put it all the way at the last of the swing, which is at our S2 area. Dollar Sing, again, very nice price action has formed at the EMA. You can see that price shoot up, tested once, tested twice, and then now we have a bearish bar. Yeah, so in fact, this whole cluster of price actions is sort of like a ring high formation. Yeah, just as I think it's about a 5 bar price ring high. Yeah, so it's kind of too late to trade the previous bar. So of course, we can always wait for the bearish bar to form. We can still be able to jump in. Take profit will still be at S2 area. I mean TP1, and then after that we can let the trade run henceforth. I'm going to share a few more different charts. There's more update from yesterday. Aussie CAD, since yesterday price has already plunged, which is a nice thing. Yeah, so in fact you can see that previously this was a head and shoulder horizontal neckline. Price broke. I'm just waiting for a retest at 0.95, then I'll be keen to actually jump into this trade for a short trade. Aussie yen, pretty much the same story. Price goes up, consolidation, breakdown. So I'm waiting for price to retest 76, or might be a bit higher at 76. Let's see. No, at 76 area, or just be a bit higher at this. Then I'm looking for a short position. Cat Swiss, price is currently at an area whereby I'm keen to actually jump into just pending a reversal price action at 0.69. Yeah, we can already see that price giving us one higher low. Second, just waiting for the third to form. Yeah, in fact, price might actually retrace a bit more further down. I'm still okay, completely okay to trade here. Yeah, as long as it still remain a higher low. Yeah, all I'm waiting for is just a reversal price action and then I'll jump in. Swiss yen, the previous bar wasn't the kind of reversal price action that I'm looking at, but overall, if you look at how the price moved, very nice uptrend. This is still a higher low. Consolidation, price broke up. Yeah, just that the bar prior to it wasn't as decisive as I like. Yeah, so I'll just take this whole chunk as a 5-bar reversal price action. So once this bar has given me a bullish finish near the top, I will still trade it and I'll put my stop loss below. EuroCat, I'm waiting for price to actually break below, come back for a retest, and then I'll be keen to jump into a short position. Pound Cat, pretty much the same story. We can wait for a reversal price action at around here, where I highlighted, or wait for price to break the previous swing low, come back retest, and then we'll go in for a short position. Pound dollar, price is exactly at the place whereby I would like to trade, just pending a reversal price action. But take note of this is that price seems to be on a pretty narrow range. Yeah. What I'm waiting for is that you can see that on the weekly chart, price is on a very, very nice horizontal level. Yeah, and in fact, on the current bar, this is a nice high test bar that is rejecting off a horizontal level. So on a H4, I'm just waiting for a lower high for me to jump in. Yeah, but bear in mind that looking at the past 2 weeks price action, it seems to be on a range. Yeah, so we need to grab our TP1 earlier in this case. Yeah. Kiwi dollar, very, very nice plunge. Again, all this on the weekly chart, you can see that there's very nice horizontal level that's coinciding. Yeah, so on the H4, all I'm waiting for is for price to break this area, retest, and then I'll jump in for a short position. Not all be trading dollar yen. Yeah. So these are quite a few charts which I'm looking out for. Essentially, these are 2 different strategies, but I would just like to share them since I've already gone through them from yesterday's presentation. So with that, I will hand the screen over to Alexis.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much, Lloyd. And yes, welcome along, Alexis. How's it going?
Hello, hi. I guess very similar to you, being trend traders. I think when Jeff is really busy, it's a bit quiet for us. So I'm just going to share a screen and we'll look through some charts that I've got ready. And there you go. Okay. Okay, so a couple of things that I was looking at. Now I am going to put a market scanner on, and then we will take a look at some of the charts. I do have a couple of pairs that I have. I'm looking at, but they're not really standard wave rider charts. So if I go to the wave rider H1, you can see that there's only 3 pairs that actually show up on the scanner. And it's a little bit quiet for me today. Actually, I think yesterday there was still possible charts, but today was a bit more on the quiet side. Okay. All right. So Cat Swiss has already broken past daily pivot, so that is out for me at the moment. On the daily time frame, you can see that the general trend is still on the a bit bearish, so not too keen to pick up that one. If we look at Swiss yen, price again has broken above daily pivot, so that's out for me as well. But I am waiting for price to kind of touch this area over here, which will just about coincide with the EMA. And this will be my potential take a short entry. But that if it does do that, then it will confirm that this uptrend is no longer going up already. All right. Euro yen, again, a bit choppy over here, but price has pushed down lower. if I look at it on a daily time frame, again, we're in a general uptrend on a larger time frame. So any opposite entries will have to be taken a little bit more carefully, because I might not have enough leeway to go down. So that's why I'm not too keen on the short trade. I'll rather wait a little bit. So a bit quiet today, but there is a couple of price pairs that I will look at, but they're not quite pure wave rider trades. So this Euro Aussie is one of them. Let me zoom out a bit. So Euro Aussie on the daily time frame, it's really consolidating over here. As you can see, it's very, very tight, tight range. It's bouncing off literally between the 250 EMA. So if we look at it on a H4, it gives us something like this. This is on the H4 time frame. So I'm just going to box it in. And on the H1, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. What I do like about this is it has kind of formed a double top over here. And again, the daily pivot has kind of stepped down over here. And, it does seem that price might kind of reject off this top. So I'm going to take this with a small risk. Taking it off, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Now, the price action candle that I'm taking it off this one over here. Okay, this candle over here, it's not quite a so-called red candle, but what I'll do is I'll pop over to the 30 minutes to show you what I actually would like to take it off. So this 30-minute candle over here is the one that I am taking off. So this is a sell, and my target is somewhere above the weekly pivot. All right, so and for this one, there is a couple of levels that I am a little bit conscious of. One of the levels is over here at the DR1. So at DR1, probably move my stop loss to entry, and my final take all profit, if this does get some leg room, would be over here at the weekly pivot. If price kinds of breaks anywhere near DR2 or above this top level here, then I'll just cancel the trade. All right, so this is a sell for Euro Aussie on the either 30-minute or hourly, and kind of a discretionary wave rider trade. So I'm trading it kind of back towards daily pivot, and only because it's been in a tight range for quite a while. And I'm also a bit bullish on the Aussie fundamentally. So that's my one trade for today. That's a little bit on a counter. Kind of within the range. All right, a couple of other pairs that I will look at is, okay, this have all flown by already. This is flown as well. Let me just take a look at the rest where it's at. Pound Swiss, I was looking for long, trading it into the daily pivot, but it's a bit choppy. Too many spikes over here, so I'm not a fan of this kind of price action, because it just means that price will probably go sideways for a bit more. What I do like about this is that price is above the monthly pivot and has already rejected the monthly pivot. And we do have a test of the DS1 over here. So I'm still bullish on this particular pair, but the price action is telling me that it's going to consolidate to the sideways. So I'll rather wait for a cleaner entry. Pound dollar, again, this is a slightly discretionary. On the daily time frame, the overall direction is still towards the upside. Price is just rejecting the weekly pivot area over here. So on the H1 level, price has already we've already missed the entry price over here to trade it back into daily pivot, and we're a bit too close to daily pivot for us to take a new entry. I'll rather wait for a retest of weekly pivot before we take it towards the upside. But the overall bias over here is still towards the long. Unless my weekly pivot is broken, then the direction will change for me. Kiwi Cat has already gone. Kiwi Cat, let me just look at it. Kiwi Cat has broken below the 200 EMA on a daily, so I no longer hold a long bias on the shorter time frame. We'll see whether this level over here can hold. The level over here. All right, if this level is, if I do get obedience from this level, it will give us a possible H1 trade back into daily pivot. But if this level is broken and there's no price action that confirms the upside, then I'll take it as 200 EMA is the stronger level for this, and price might be just moving further towards the downside on a deeper retracement. Finally, last two pairs, Kiwi dollar. Kiwi dollar and H1, the Kiwi pairs have all this really similar deep V-shaped push towards the downside. Again, I'm looking for confirmation that this will give me a possibility to trade this back to the upside, at least towards monthly pivot or daily pivot. But until I get a confirmation via a price action, a clear price action over here, then, or a ring low or something over here, then I will take this trade. If not, all it looks like it's doing is consolidating. And again, price on the daily time frame has broken below monthly pivot. So I think the downside pressures are a little bit higher over here, and price might go towards the further retracement towards the downside. So I rather sit out for a while I wait for a confirmation. And finally, dollar CAD. Dollar CAD not quite set up for us on the H1, and dollar yen. Again, not quite there for me on the H1. All right, so I think my only pair today is the Euro Aussie on a discretionary trade for the H1. And again, if in the next couple of hours we are not entered in, then I'll just cancel this trade, because what it means that price is just consolidating at this area. I'll wait for a cleaner entry the next day or a proper price action. So that's all for me.
Awesome stuff, Alexis. Lots to be looking at and getting on with there. So we are going to have to draw the show to a very quick close, because we have another show coming up on YouTube, which is a market analysis show with Orlando, who will be joining us from El Salvador. So that's coming up in about 2 minutes' time. Thank you very much, all of you who have tuned in to listen to us. Thank you to Jeff, Alexis, and Lloyd, as always, for contributing to the original show with the Actions 12 strategies. And we will be back in a fortnight. Cheers, everyone, and speak to you very soon.